Hey guys, Candace Nicole here, and in this video I'm going to show you my highlighting and contouring routine. So to speed up this video, I've already done my brows, what I'm going to do to my eyes because it's not about eyes today, and I've color corrected as much as I'm going to, and I've applied my base, which today I simply used, I'm sorry that the bottle is so dirty, but that's what happened, Kiss BB cream. Now this is my everyday highlighting and contouring routine, and every day I don't wear foundation because it's a little bit too heavy for me. So this is like my foundation, BB cream. To do my brows, I used Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in chocolate. You don't necessarily need to use this. It's not a big deal. Like e.l.f. brown gel liner is the same thing, basically. So what I typically use is I begin with LA Girl Pro Concealer. This one is in pure beige and it's on its way out, so I have to like squeeze. Where I will typically use this is right up under the eye. So I put as much as I can. Just kidding. I put enough right under my eyes just to make it work, right? Then I take a different LA Girl Pro Concealer. This one is in Cool Tan. And this one is closest to my skin tone while still being a little shade lighter. So that's kind of, this is typically my everyday. But I put that right up under where I put the pure beige just to create more of a seamless transition between my own highlight and then my skin color. And I typically put this everywhere else that I would normally highlight and contour because I prefer my highlighting emphasis to be under my eyes. So I do a more dramatic highlight under the eye and then everywhere else. So then taking yet another LA Girl Pro Concealer. This one is in Dark Cocoa. You don't need a lot. A little goes a long way when you're contouring. So I just push it out just a little bit and I do just very light strokes. Like literally that's all you need to define that contour. And then I do right across my forehead. Sometimes I go down here with it just to define my jawline. And then I go, typically I drag it from my crease down my nose. Like this. And then I bring it to a point to give me some definition there. So you look like this, which is a mess. But the key to it all is to blend. I take my blending sponge. Sometimes, and most of the time, I spray it with NYX's Dewy Matte Finish just to get the sponge a little wet and to, you know, create some moisture to ease up the concealer to make it a little more blendable. So I just 2 spritz, very simple. And I start with the darker contour first. It's just easier because then if I need to highlight more to contrast with the contour, I can do that. So I just start along the jawline. And then I hit these cheeks. And for my nose, I kind of smooth it out with the blending sponge, but then I take a blending brush and kind of define all that. Then I move on with a different blending sponge to the lighter shades. I also spritz this one just to give it some moisture and blend away. So also when I do my lighter contour, I try and bring it up to my nose here so that it creates even more of that definition. And you just have to blend it down so that it's not streaky and that it's like very all together. And so oftentimes I'll look and I'll be like, I wanna be brighter. So I'll go right back in, and that's why I do my lighter shades last, because I can always go back in and just add in some more of the light. This one is pure beige, and I just like put it where I would want to be lighter. I want to be a little lighter down my nose. I want to define that contour a little bit more, so I'll put a little streak here, and then I blend all of this away. So now that I've applied the concealers in all the areas that I desire, the next step is to set. So lately I've been kind of switching in between two different setting powders. One, because one is low and the other is convenient. So I typically use the Ben Nye banana powder. This one has been the most effective for me. I love it. I need to restock because I'm on the end of my bottle. But I absolutely love it. It's very inexpensive, but you can only get it at select retailers. But Google the name, you'll find it. Another thing that I've been kind of dabbling with is the e.l.f. HD definition powder. It's just too messy for me. However, I do like the way it sets my makeup. So it's all about preference and what you find most effective. Today we're going to use the Ben Nye banana powder because it's my favorite and I'm a little biased towards it. So what I typically do is I squeeze, so you can tell I'm on the bottom because I have to like do extras, but I squeeze it into the cap, and then I take yet another blending sponge because I just love these things, and I dip it into the powder and I apply. I start with the under eyes, and I just put on a thick thin layer. But the point is to get into those creases to make sure that you don't crease and that your makeup stays, you know, so that it's not like sliding down your face. I put some here to define that contour. Everywhere that you put concealer, you want to place setting powder just to keep it all together, okay? My focal areas are typically here, and under the contour, just to make sure it's like together. So any other day, I would do my face first, and so at this point, I would then move on to my eyes and like do whatever I'm gonna do to my eyes. But today I kind of did my eyes first. I just simply used the BH Cosmetics Malibu palette. I just used this brown, my favorite brown, and I put that all over the lid with a blending brush. So very basic. I also used NYX XXL Lush Lashes mascara, and I already did one coat, but you can never have too many coats of mascara. So bam. Now if you think the highlighting contouring routine is over because you're baking, wrong. To keep going, there's still extra steps. So what's next is that you want to just dust away the excess powder. So I take a face brush. This one is from e.l.f. Very simple. And I brush it all away. So then what I typically do next is I go into my BH Cosmetics Contour and Blush 2 palette. Absolutely love this palette. It was only $8.95 and I got these big old rounds of highlighting, contour, and blush shades. I would highly recommend. Swatch this flat face powder brush, because it's flat faced powder brush, and it's a highlighting shade, so I put it right under my eyes to give me more of a glisten, and I do that under both eyes, and then sometimes I'll pat it down here to further define that highlight. I normally focus it under my eyes because it just gives you like a glisten. Then taking an angle brush, I dip it into the darkest shade of the palette. And I'm going to put this because, as you saw, I didn't set where I put the darker concealer. And so this is how I set the darker concealer, and I'll swatch that over. And then I'll do sweeping and then circular to blend it out. I'm really into a heavy contour, so you can use little, you can use less, you can use more. Like, it's really all up to you. But, you know, I like to be chiseled, okay? So then for blush, I mix these two powders together on that same palette. Just to brighten up those cheeks. And that's right over that contour shade. And then same thing, I sweep and then I circle. Sweep and circle. Like I said, I like a heavy contour, so I also take some bronzer. My bronzer is lost its top. It's like real struggly, but I just do a little. And then the last thing that I do for face is I take the Wild and Radiant palette, also from BH Cosmetics. Like, can I be a spokesperson, please? And I take the goldish shade because that's my favorite. And I sweep it right over those cheeks like that to give me a nice highlight. And then down my nose. And then if I'll put it here sometimes just to brighten all that up. And then I'll kind of like swish it all over to kind of blend it all out so that everything is flowing together. And then boom, you have just highlighted and contoured your face for every day. Now, if I'm going out, it's like way more dramatic. It's like way more like, and like, it's just a lot more dramatic if I'm going out. But for your everyday routine, this is very simple. And in any other instance, it would be a lot quicker. But I'm trying to talk to you guys to kind of tell you what I do. So if you like this video, thumbs it up. Be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.